Mes amis, citoyens, citoyennes, camarades, and the guy's not speaking French. I can't really blame you for this because it's a terrible language. Anyway, we are here today to talk about the French large cruisers Cherbourg, Brest, and Marseille. The ships will be available in early access with the update 0.11.4, so it's about time to talk about them, see if they're worth grinding for, what are their playstyle, etc, etc. Now, as much as I didn't like Cherbourg and Brest because they are pretty tanky, but the firepower it's just not there. Even for Cherbourg, it's even pretty tragic. But Marseille, on the other hand, she's honestly a solid package. She has that somewhat hybrid playstyle between the roaming around and spamming HE of Henri IV, and a more static gameplay and more focused on shooting broadside targets with AP from something like the Stalingrad. Now, as much as she doesn't particularly shine at any of them, she's still not joke at all. Like, honestly. First and foremost, she gets the same guns as Dunkerque and Strasbourg, but it's with battlecruiser dispersion, so she's generally pretty good at punishing broadsides, or even at burning stuff to crisp with the HE, because it's some pretty strong HE with both high damage and high fire chance. At the same time, she gets the classic gimmicks of the French cruisers, so the special 20% speed boosts, the reload booster, and yeah. Now, thankfully, she also gets some pretty good tanking power. Yeah, I was very lucky on this one. That it was only 20k damage, and I should have been more aware of that Montana that's been staying at the back and spotted, but yeah, it is what it is. At least I got my revenge with some 11k salvo on him, so... Well, it's not stonks, but it's not bad either. But yeah, at least the tanking part of the ship is not bad either. Like, you have the 36mm deck armor, which won't be overmatched by battleships. You have a turtle back, although that one only works against cruisers because it's only 25mm ticks. Yeah, 25mm stick. And the Citadel is also pretty low on the water. So yeah, overall it's both a very solid gun platform, and it's not bad either because when it comes to the tanking capacity. Now, her main battery is definitely not without flaw. Sure, it's battleship guns with battlecruiser dispersion, but the problem is that between the high velocity of the shells and the 1.8 Sigma, she gets pretty bad dispersion. Also, as you can see here, the turret traverse is absolutely horrible. When you're turning away from something, or even simply waiting to get the guns on target, it takes absolutely ages, because she gets only 36 seconds of turret traverse time, while having tight turning radius, which means that even with the Honoré brothers and their unbuffed greaser gear, when turning in the opposite direction of where you are aiming, the guns won't be able to stay on target. Now, it's not that big of a problem when you have a more static gameplay, like here if I'm just staying near an island well angled and punishing the montagnous broadside. But when you're on the move, like you would with an Henri IV, it becomes very painful. Especially since, as much as on the front, the firing angles are very good, on the rear, you need to give a fair amount of broadside to get all guns on target. So yeah, that turret handling, it's definitely a very big downside on these large cruisers. At the very least, once you get the guns on target and the dispersion doesn't screw you over, well, you get some good results. Like as you saw so far, my AP salvos were always with pretty good damage, and the HE is not Joel. Like, on destroyers it's particularly frustrating, because more often than not, the shells will just land everywhere except on targets, but when they do connect, you get some pretty high damage, and also you get a bunch of fires and incapacitations. That's at least something you can be happy with the Marseille. Fortunately, against destroyers you are not completely relying just on the main battery. At close range you are also relying on the secondary battery, because those French large cruisers have both many secondaries, like with the Marseille it's 12 guns broadside, and they also have an improved dispersion. So yeah, at least when you are on close range against the destroyers, you just have that fairly substantial addition to your firepower. Now as you can see here, you can see the HE in action. Just before it was something like a 9k salvo. Now I got 5.6k, 3 torpedo tubes broken, and fire. Honestly, if you are looking for a large cruisers with strong main battery, you can really safely grind for the Marseille. It won't be as good as on the Stalingrad, or you won't have the HE spamming capacity of an Henri IV, but she's a very consistent middle ground. You can both burn to crisps anything that is angled against you, and against the broadside targets you just slam them with AP. It's especially nice with the main barrel yield booster, since you can really get as much value as you can from either getting broadside targets, or if it's, for example, a battleship popping its damage control party, and right behind it you can get a whole bunch of fires. Would have been nice if Wargaming would have listened and buffed that turret traverse so that it's not working against this ship when actively maneuvering. But, hey, you know what? Maybe it will be buffed later. Who knows? I mean, it's not the end of the world. Let's be honest. As long as you can get the guns on target, you will be rewarded plenty. So now this game is basically over. It's just that Stalingrad, who has been hiding in Narnia for the whole game, and Alan roaming around somewhere around, I don't know, maybe F9 or something. And usual last survival submarines playing hide and seek. so yeah, there isn't much to cover at this point. Actually, just one note when it comes to dealing with submarines. With the next update, the French large cruisers get a buff to the cooldown on the airstrikes, so it's only 45 seconds instead of a whole 90 seconds. That can actually be pretty useful when you have a submarine sitting in front of your face and just being spamming you. So here I'm actually a bit sad because my secondaries decided to not hit that island, so I wasn't truly able to illustrate how strong they can be. But I had plenty of examples with my secondaries just demolishing a destroyer that was at less than 8 kilometers from me. Honestly, it's not quite what you can get with Napoli, but it's nothing that a destroyer at close range can ignore. It's a pretty substantial addition to a firepower. Anyway, that's all for me, so see you later, guys.